Not everyone out there knows the name Lars Fisk, but once you see what he creates, it kind of sticks with you. He's an artist with deep automotive roots, but instead of sketching or sculpting cars in the usual way, he does something totally unexpected. Lars loves taking familiar things apart and rebuilding them into a form that's about as universal as it gets, the perfect sphere. So yeah, if you told me I'd be talking about balls for the next few minutes, no, not those, I probably wouldn't have believed you either. But that's exactly where we're headed, because Lars Fisk has built an entire artistic world around turning everyday objects, places, and vehicles into globes. Baseball scoreboards, trash cans, pencils, tiny homes, even a Costco parking lot have all been transformed into smooth, rounded works of art. For today, though, the real stars are the automotive-inspired spheres. And I've got to start with my personal favorite, the VW ball. This one isn't a Pokeball, even though it kind of looks like it could be. It's a playful take on the classic VW Type 2, boiled down to its most recognizable elements. You've got the two-tone paint, a seat, steering wheel, dashboard, and side doors, all wrapped into this perfectly round form. There's even a wild tilt to it that makes you wonder why anyone would try to sit in it in the first place. I mean, it's art, hands off. The front alone tells you exactly what it's supposed to be. Those rounded headlights with the iconic V-shaped trim give it away instantly. And if that somehow wasn't enough, there's a VW badge right up front. Add in the little window wipers, and suddenly this ball has way more personality than it probably should. If speed is more your thing, Lars didn't stop with VW. He also created a BMW ball and a Porsche ball. I'll be honest, I couldn't tell you exactly which models inspired them, but the branding makes it pretty clear. The BMW ball has the logo right on the steering wheel, while the Porsche one proudly wears its name on the back. That said, the Porsche ball almost looks a little sad, like it's mourning the loss of its full-on Porsche-ness after being turned into a garage ornament. Back in 2014, Lars rolled out one of his most curious creations, the Dodge ball. This one feels inspired by those classic Dodge vans from decades past, probably the 80s. It's wrapped in a matte gold finish with wood grain paneling all the way around. And unlike some of his other automotive spheres, this one doesn't even bother with doors. Inside, everything's been stripped down to just 5 seats and a single central stick shift, which honestly feels more like a joystick. At that point, you're basically piloting a space pod. One weird detail with the Dodge ball is the grille, which looks like it says Ford. Is that intentional? Is it a visual joke? I honestly don't know. But then again, I'm not the artist here. Maybe the confusion is part of the point, and Lars didn't stop with cars and vans. He kept the ball rolling, literally, with spheres inspired by John Deere, Mr. Softy, UPS trucks, school buses, and a whole list of others. His work has been featured in over 40 exhibitions, often showcasing entire collections of these spherical creations. He's even done a tree sphere, capturing the texture of bark in a perfectly rounded form. He's also taken on road surfaces themselves. There's the Costco parking lot ball, known as the lot ball, and even a cobblestone street turned into a globe. It's such a strange but fascinating way to look at places we usually ignore without a second thought. This whole approach to art really makes you pause and see everyday objects differently. And it's been influential enough that other artists have followed similar paths. One of the most notable is Indonesia-based artist Ichwan Noor. Like Lars, Noor works with spheres, but his style is much rawer. Instead of carefully reconstructing a vehicle into a clean globe, Noor's pieces look like real cars that have been crushed and forced into a spherical shape, with tires and body panels jutting out wherever they can. Where Lars's work feels polished and almost factory perfect, Noor's feels aggressive and emotional. Both artists use original vehicle parts mixed with fabricated elements, though Noor also incorporates materials like bronze, stainless steel, aluminum, and resin. The result is a completely different vibe, even though the overall shape is the same. As for what these pieces are worth, that really depends on how deep your pockets are. Lars Fisk's work has been reproduced in smaller forms, even as desktop collectibles, and some of his smaller originals have sold for around $3,000. Ichwan Noor's sculptures, on the other hand, have gone for well over £100,000 and sometimes even more. So now I've got to ask, whose work speaks to you more? Do you prefer Lars Fisk's clean, playful spheres, or Ichwan Noor's raw, crushed metal approach? Let me know what you think down in the comments.